Hello, welcome back to my little corner of the internet, Herald and Hearth. Feel free to call me Auntie A. I'm so excited that you're here with me. Today I've got a bit of a timely reading. It is not, all of my readings are timeless in the sense that when they find you, if you feel it's right for you, then it's the right time whenever you get to it. I don't necessarily hold mine in place. However, there was a bit of a moment of from Spirit of saying, hey, we got to get this, this message has to go out ASAP. So here we are. I'm so excited to be back. So excited to have you here. I would ask if you could take a moment to breathe all the way in and all the way out. Finding a sense of centeredness, coming back to the breath. All right, where do we want to start today, Spirit? Here? Beautiful. Got our mini Mother Peace deck. Start off with that. Ooh. What do we have here? The Two of Discs, balancing. Addition, creation, expansion. Is this a... Hold on, let me see here. It looks like there's a bit of an Ouroboros happening here, but it's actually denied eating its own tail. I'm not sure if you can see this too closely. I'll see what I can do to get it close, but there's a head down here that's actually denied consuming itself again. Interesting. It seems like, pardon me while I get a little bit of light here, it seems to me like there has been some expansion in your life. There's been some growing, maybe some growing pains, something new. But this has come with an awareness that behaving in the same way, existing within the same patterns of behavior, doing it the way that you might have 3 years ago, for example, is not how you want to do it moving forward. So there's this rejection of an old cycle happening, a rejection of this old cycle within the self, and a rebalancing act that's happening. I'm seeing 4 trees, which reminds me of the 4 of wands, but specifically there's this kind of quieter, more spindly tree on this little corner here. And to me, it seems like, okay, we're taking a moment to allow that to grow. Now, if you're watching the screen, you saw this just flip. 3 of Swords. Grief. Possibly unexpected grief. Possibly feeling like something came out of nowhere, was unexpected, was striking, but you're dealing with this in the best way you know how. And you're trying to go about it in a heart-led manner. And I know that because I'm seeing so much of this green. I'm seeing that you're trying to come at this situation, this scenario, with your heart and with your confidence both intact, your self-worth, right? Trying to come at whatever this grief is, whatever this change is, with a sense of groundedness within yourself. All of them? No. Top one? Yeah. Okay, they just can't go down. Ace of Wands. Yeah. Did somebody just have a baby? Somebody about to have a baby? Not to scare people who don't want to have a baby. That's not it, but we've got a lot of new energy on the table. We have a motherly energy down here as well. So here we are. There's our starting pattern. And then underneath this, I see Justice, 5 of Swords, and 8 of Cups. So leaving behind scenarios which left you trapped. Finding a new way forward that feels more just for yourself and the way you need to treat yourself. Different ones? Okay. These ones? No. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, Spirit? What's going on for these people? What is this grief coming from? Because grief can come from anywhere. This one? Ooh. Interesting. I just felt like I had interference, almost like a tuning meter was being changed and I was getting static. Interesting. Changing the channel, changing the radio station. Maybe that's why you're feeling really in between, because maybe you're feeling like you're in the midst of literally switching a dial in your life to change things. Okay, interesting. Maybe that's why it feels so unsteady and so confusing, because there's new. Yeah. 7 of Wands. This is not something that's just happened overnight. This is something that's taken work. Like, okay, accidentally throwing things, my bad. This man is working. He's working hard. He's sweating in this picture. He is making this happen. Driving it home. Interesting choice of words. Driving it home. There's something specific about driving it home. You want, oh, I got it. Okay, yeah. You want this one to stick. You want this one to stick. And there's this new influx of uncertain kind of explosion of energy, and you're also still dealing with old grief. Yeah, death card. You're dealing with old endings. You're dealing with the grief. Okay, whenever the death card comes up, there is always grief. Because death is an ending, right? And so you are grieving an ending. Maybe the ending of an old cycle, maybe the ending of an old way of behaving or dealing with things. Maybe literally a death to the old self, or a death to the way that you see yourself, right? I feel like there are multiple situations here, so I don't want to clarify too much, because I feel like whatever this grief that you're going through is immensely personal. Immensely personal. This is not something that you just have done overnight. This has been something that you've worked on. This has been something that you've been aiming for, been hoping for, been dreaming of, possibly even didn't see it as being possible. Possibly don't even see it as being possible still. I've got cards falling out of my hand and not in a way to be read. That's one. King of Swords. Yeah. You're trying to come at this seriously. You're not screwing around. You're not effing around, right? You're not effing around this time. You're coming at this very seriously because you've realized that you deserve to have a life that is taken seriously. You are serious business. Your life is serious business. But you don't have to be all business. You don't have to be too focused on that. Don't allow your logic to completely sidetrack your emotions in this process of grieving, because grieving is partially emotion. Yes, you can, be aware of it, work through it cognitively, but your body still has to feel out its feelings. Yeah, the Empress in reverse. There's been a little, okay. Grief can be a really challenging thing to feel. And I am not about to judge anybody for how they process their grief. This message is coming in, and it just got so much gentler, so much softer. Because I feel like ancestors, angels, guides, guardians, spirit team isn't asking you to be more serious. It's not asking you to grind harder, okay? This is asking you, hey, when is the last time that you allowed your mind to step back a little bit so that you could feel what you're feeling? And I mean, feel it. Thinking it is not the same as feeling it. I know. That was a shocker for me when I learned that too. But thinking it isn't feeling it. Feeling it in your body, whether that's crying or shaking, all of these things that we as a larger, kind of cultures and societies might frown upon, or at least Western societies and cultures. I can't speak for all. But often these things that are frowned upon are actually very important for your neurological healing. And so feeling that can be very overwhelming, very frightening, and very reasonably so. I understand it, especially if you've lived a life where expressing those things was dangerous in certain cases. I'm hearing Spirit say, hey, this isn't the same place you were. Hey, these aren't the same people. Hey, locking away your emotions, it helped for a little bit. But eventually you're going to be fighting yourself. And you're going to wonder why you can't let that go and why it keeps coming up, because you haven't felt it. And that can be so frustrating. We have a flipped card in here. It can be so frustrating, but it's how you actually reach. It's how you actually reach a more fulfilled state. It's how you actually get towards the 10 of Cups, by feeling your feelings, processing them, and then allowing them to be, and allowing yourself to move past and through it. That's how you get towards this 10 of Cups, to legacy, to emotional fulfillment and satisfaction within yourself. And it might require walking away from some of the ideas that you had about yourself. These are my upright cards, so I'm going to use them to get some clarifying energies. This grief might have come from a situation outside of yourself. It might have even come from something somebody else did. And you were being asked to value yourself enough to grieve it. Yeah, King of Wands just flipped out. That's confidence. That's self-worth. That's the sacral chakra. That's this central kind of, I know you can't see all of me, but I'm kind of touching my sternum, my diaphragm. Like, that is that central piece of you, this yellow, this confidence, this burst, this explosion. This King of Wands. You're being asked to see yourself as being worthy of this process, of being worthy of feeling your emotions. You do not have to be constantly logical, constantly business, constantly serious to be worthy. Maybe you felt like you did in the past. 12-2-2-2, so 12-2-2, sorry, as I said that. Maybe you felt like you needed to be all business, you needed to have a sharp tongue, you needed to be able to put your emotions aside to deal with whatever you were dealing with. But you've come to a stage now where Spirit is asking you, hey, this might feel really out of the way, but you are worth feeling your emotions. You are worth feeling what you're feeling. Yeah. By feeling your emotions, by allowing your body to actually express those things, you are not just going to slip into a never-ending space of feeling like this. There might be some protectiveness in how you're going about your seriousness. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that dealing with feeling your grief, and on the bottom of the deck, look, 3 of Swords, dealing with feeling your grief is an easy thing. In fact, I highly recommend that if you don't feel like you know how, or there is a safe place for you to do so, or a safe person for you to do so, please, I encourage you to look into resources that are around you wherever you are locally. Please look for some professional support. It's out there. It is for you. You do not have to be in a worse position to take advantage of it. It is there for a reason, and it is there for you. And it is there to be a space that is all about you. Right? Finding a person you can trust, a counselor who you feel that you can talk to, could be incredibly helpful. Okay? My readings are here for support. My readings are here to share messages, but I cannot replace professional help in that capacity. Okay? Yeah. You're actually being celebrated. There's the Six of Wands. I'm sensing like spirit and ancestors, guides and guardians being like, no, this is good. We want to celebrate you for feeling this because this is not easy. We want to celebrate the work you've done. We want to celebrate the grind you've been doing, the work that you've done to get yourself here to the semi-balanced place where you're like, okay, I'm now balanced enough that I can start facing this pattern of mine and start pulling back from it. And you are being celebrated. That's an amazing thing. Actually, hold on. Where do you want this? Here? Okay, down here. There we go. Oop, and I've got more flying out of my hand. Look at that. Let's take a look-see. Yeah, the Fool. This is going to feel like a new embarkment for you. It might feel really stressful. It might be really scary. That's okay. You're allowed to be afraid. You are allowed to be worried that if you open that box of emotions, it's going to be like Pandora's box and you're never going to get it all back inside it again. You're not supposed to. Okay? You feel it. Your body processes it. It takes the time that it takes. And then you are able to move on and to move forward. So don't put a time limit on it. Don't put a timer on it. Don't demand that, you know, you do it and it's like taking Tylenol and you can just do it once and you feel better. That's not how it works. And that's why there is this kind of gentle touch coming in. Because this is new. And that's okay. Yeah, we've got, pardon me, 6 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, and Ace of Cups. This to me is you're going all the way back to the stuff that, you know, you are celebrating that inner child in you. By feeling your emotions, you're honoring that part of you. You're honoring this wonderful, sweet side of you that is worthy of feeling their emotions and processing them and getting to the other side. You also are worthy of having a team that supports you, a community. If you don't feel supported by your community, like I said, there are places, there are resources, okay? For every level of income, for every class level, okay? You are not exempt from the good that professional help can give. And you deserve to have the support you need in order to continue growing and moving forward and to process whatever this grief is. And then the Ace of Cups, this overwhelming emotion. Think of it this way. If you have a dam blocking up a lake or creating a lake where there was none for as long as you've been alive, however long that is, and all of a sudden Spirit comes along and says, hey, unblock this dam. And you go, there's a whole ocean behind it. What do you mean unblock the dam? Where is the water going to go? Well, you have to unblock the dam. And Spirit might not give you that exact answer. You might not know where the water is going to go. Clearing out that dam, when you first open it, it might be messy. It might be full of gunk, but the process of feeling it is the process of expelling that so that it doesn't live inside you and live in your spirit anymore. And it may feel like it gets more intense when you open it up. And it may feel like it's staying, you know, you might worry, oh my gosh, is this just who I am now? No. You are worth the time it takes to grieve and to heal in the way that you need to. Because when you do that, you're all of a sudden, you're going to reach a point where suddenly the water's coming down, the pressure's coming down, the water's running clearer, and all of a sudden you start to see why you were led to do this in the first place. I do want to ask why, a little bit of insight here, Spirit. What is going on with, yeah. Oh, okay. The Death card again. For somebody listening, this may have been a literal passing, and if it is, I am so sorry. My heart goes out to you. It may not have been literal, but if it is, I want to send a special hug your way, because it's never easy. But part of the process of death is renewal. The death of the old and the birth of the new. This is the new. So allow yourself to grieve. Even if it's just grieving all of the times you did things a certain way. You don't have to have an explanation for your grief. You don't have to have a reason, and people around you don't need to understand it. What's most important is that you get an opportunity to feel and process it. Okay. The Queen of Staves. The Queen of Staves, or the Queen of Wands, matching this King of Wands. I'm going to show it to you because it's really quite beautiful. These cards are so lovely. She's sitting back. There's sunflowers behind her and she's taking in the view. When is the last time you simply sat and watched the world go by, wherever you are in your corner of the world? When's the last time you just existed? Without having to perform for anyone, or maintain, or care for, or take charge. And now I don't want to be ignorant. There are, of course, situations people have dependents, people have situations I'm not demanding you do something you can't. But I am saying that finding a small moment of peace in amongst the chaos does take practice. And you deserve to have those spaces. You deserve to have the space it gives you mentally and emotionally. The Four of Pentacles again. Interesting. I'm sensing a little bit of defensiveness. And trust me, no judgment. Because when you've had everything taken from you or the carpet ripped up out from under your feet so many times, as I feel like this is the case, you're playing defense. You're aware of what can be lost, and so you defend what you have. That's not inherently a bad thing. But it might become maladaptive if we're only ever defending and we're not actually grieving. Does that make sense? We're so busy defending and being serious and handling that we don't actually deal with what we need to. Yeah, Nine of Staves. This is okay. Yes, exactly. This is exactly what I was thinking. There is a difference between having experiential knowledge of the world and things that have happened to you or to other people, and how to prepare smart. Move in a wise way, defend yourself well. But there is this balance here with the Nine of Staves that always talks about not allowing that to slip into paranoia. Okay? And I'm not here to tell you you're paranoid. That's not it. But it is a message about, hey, when we're feeling all of the things we're feeling and when we've gone through what we've gone through, sometimes we can see red flags where there are none. Sometimes we can be a little too defensive or far too defensive. And I'm sensing that this is a defense kind of against the self, against your own process. If I open this up, I feel like there might be somebody sitting there being like, okay, that's nice of me to say on this side of the camera, but you're not living my life. You're right, I'm not. You're completely right. I, Auntie A, do not know what life you're living. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what has been done unto you, or your way through the world, or the context in which you grew up. I don't know. You know. Spirit knows. And this is saying, Spirit is saying, hey, I know what you went through. I was there. I saw. I was with you. We're moving beyond that. So come with, allow the perceptions to change, allow your own defensiveness to shift. It will not leave you undefended. It will put you in a better place to know when you need to pick up that defense and when to allow it yourself to rest. I'm seeing like fight or flight, like somebody hasn't been sleeping properly, maybe not even eating properly or digesting properly. There is something definitely about, there's another one. There's something definitely about like tuning it back in with your body, even if it's scary. Okay. Taking the space, the time, asking for, demanding the support you need, and not just from people around you. Okay. I do want to clarify that, like, I understand that when things are desperate and you feel like you really need help, sometimes we reach out to friends or family and we say, I desperately need help. That's not a bad thing. However, you want to talk to people, but I think there's a balance to be struck, because sometimes our friends and family don't actually have the tools to help you through that thing. And this is why I am coming back to finding people who are professionally trained, people who actually know how to support you and to make the conversation about you. In therapy, it is all about you. In counseling, it is all about you. There's a lot of stigma, but that is changing, okay? I just feel like sometimes we demand help from people who don't have the capacity to help us. And then we think, and I say we because I've done this, Auntie A, I've done this in the past and I had to learn from it, is I think, well, I did ask for help and you didn't help me. So now I'm just screwed, and getting angry and sitting in that. It didn't help me. Didn't help them. That person probably wanted to be there for me and didn't have the tools. That's not their fault. It's not their failing. It doesn't mean they don't love me. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means they might not be the person to support you through your grieving process or your process of this, okay? So doing something a little scary, doing something frightening, facing this part of yourself, and possibly even reaching out to the resources that are out there that are there to help you deal with this stuff might be very important, okay? I encourage you to do it. It takes a ton of bravery. It really does. Therapy does not make you weak. It takes an immense amount of courage to show up and say, I need support that my family and friends might not be able to give me right now. That's an amazing thing to do for yourself, okay? All right. I felt like there was another one sitting in here to come out. Maybe there is, but maybe I just had to get that out because that message is just so right there for me right now. Okay. Yeah, Shaman of Swords, speaking out, speaking up, and not just to the people around you who might not have the support, the structure to support you, but going and finding the right person to talk to. That is part of knowing how to communicate, knowing how to express your needs, okay? Is knowing how to go and find somebody who can actually support you in that. There it is. The Son of Wands, yeah, and the Son of Discs. This might feel new. This might feel challenging in a way that other things have not challenged you. You might feel really silly. Like, I'm sure that this is, like, I don't actually think that this is supposed to be, like, a thing to laugh at, this image. However, I'm getting the energy of, in this context of you don't want to come off as the fool. And I get it. You want to come off as targeted. You want to come off as because you've worked hard. You don't want people to perceive you a certain way. How people perceive you doesn't matter. Okay? There will be people who don't understand, and that's okay. Feeling like a fool for a moment is worth it if it means you're getting closer to being able to help yourself. Because the feeling of feeling like a fool and being a fool are not the same. You're targeting something within yourself that lots of people don't even have, lots of people don't reach a point where they feel like they can even start to dig that out, okay? And that's not a moral judgment. That's not a judgment on anybody's journey, right? This is just where you're at. Stop telling yourself you're the fool. Stop telling yourself you're the fool every time you cry. Stop apologizing for it. In fact, I would say even defend the space in which, like, that it would be a healthy defense, defending that right to feel, defending that, space within yourself to let yourself cry. That doesn't mean, you explode on other people around you mindlessly and say, oh, I have a right to my emotions when you're hurting other people. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about the defensiveness within ourselves, that the walls we put up to keep ourselves from crying. You're worth tearing those down. Okay? Male, female, they, them, ze, zer, whatever pronouns or lack thereof that you want to go by. You're worth it. You're worth feeling it. You're worth being allowed to cry and being allowed to feel. Yeah, because when you do, you integrate. You allow. Animals in the wild and in the world, when something traumatic happens to them or something happens to them or they lose something or they're scared, lots of times they shake. That shake response is quite distressing to see as a human, because so often as humans, we lock ourselves down from that. We don't allow ourselves to shake. So if you're grieving, if you're crying, if you feel like you're going to start shaking, if you're in a place that's safe to do so, if you're in a car, pull over, but if you're in a place that's safe to do so, shake. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. In fact, it means that you're human. And finding that balance, allowing yourself to express what has to be expressed, is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Peace and stillness are in this card. The child from the first card is in here as well. Bird, messengers from spirit. As you are clearing out this emotional stuff within you, as you move forward, hearing messages, they'll be all the clearer. You'll be all the better to stay balanced. Eight of Cups, you'll be able to handle more. And you'll be able to let go of what does not serve you. Of ideas, of stories that you tell yourself that doesn't serve you. Your capacity might feel like it diminishes, but in truth it doesn't. Your capacity falls into place. I feel like there might be one more in this deck. That's why I continue to flip it. But all of this, pardon me. I want to bring this message with kindness and with gentleness, while still not, sugarcoating it or pretending it's something it's not, okay? I don't want to just come across and be, oh, this is all love and light, but, there is love and light within it. There's love and light within you, but that doesn't mean that our whole experience is love and light, right? And dealing and processing the things that are not as bright and don't feel as loving is part of it too. You're not failing. You haven't failed this life. You haven't failed this experience because of what you're feeling. This one. Aha. Magician. You are the master of your own life. You really, truly are. It may take time, but it is worth it. Much like a beautiful garden, right? So I encourage you, if this is where you've been at, if things have been a challenge, if you've been wondering how you're going to get on, you know, be patient with yourself. Don't focus on what you don't have. Try to look up. Try to allow yourself to shift your perspective a little bit and create space for yourself to feel. And it might feel like work, and that's okay. 7 of Pentacles. One more card, please, Spirit, so I can wind up this beautiful message for these folks. Oh, 2 more cards. Okay, well, 2 more cards it is. What do we got here? Interesting. I think I read this wrong. Well, wrong is a turn of phrase. I think the message still stands for what we're talking about, but the card itself, 7 of Wands. I think I was picturing 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Wands in the standard deck, which is funny, it comes up now. It's like Spirit's like, you got the first part, get the rest of it. Get the rest of the message. You've had to defend your work, yourself, your family, your decisions for so long. And 3 of Cups behind it is I'm seeing that there's going to come a time where you're celebrated for your choices and you don't have to explain them. You don't have to defend every decision and every step of the way to somebody else. You will know within you, and they will know. So even if you feel alone right now, you're not going to remain that way. Even if you feel alone right now, you're not. I feel like Spirit, ancestors, guides, guardians, source wants to encourage you, to assure you that they are right there with you, right there, walking alongside you, happy, eager for you to call on them for your aid. You did a lot alone. There are some things in life that we have to do alone, but you do not have to do everything alone. And that's what part of this stage is about learning, which is super exciting. Growing that community of people that you can trust and that celebrate you is so cool and so worthwhile. Feeling your feelings, feeling your grief, the scary parts of ourselves that we don't want anybody else to see and we don't even want to look at. None of it is bad. None of it makes you a bad person. You're supported in facing this. Don't expect it to be overnight. Don't demand it to be overnight. Just keep showing up for yourself with each breath, each now moment, right? We can't change the past, can't jump into the future, but right now, in the present, showing up for yourself in whatever way you need to. You got this. And truthfully, I know it's overwhelming, but I'm excited for you. Because coming out on the other side of this, you're going to feel like a whole new person. I'm sat with just such a gentle energy, like truly just so soft. I know that the Empress is facing reverse for you guys, but she's staring at me. And allow yourself to soften. It's okay. You deserve it. Drink your water. Take as good a care of yourself as you're able. And thank you so much for sitting with me through this. It's quite the message. Sensitive, has a lot to do with grief, the ends of cycles and the beginnings of new ones. It's never easy, but it is worthwhile. So I wish you the absolute best of luck on your journey as you move forward. I encourage you to reach out for the resources and support you need. And I thank you for spending some time with me today and with yourself. That's all for the reading today. Thank you for being here. You can call me Auntie A, and this has been Herald Hearth. Have a wonderful day.